when you're looking at Shannon, his brand has never really been anything that said he might not be into some of the things that we're learning.
You can smell that this is for a record. You can smell that this, if you want to go there, is for the setup. This is for the shakedown. Or you can say, oh no, she's just being explicit and she's just being open, and that's their relationship. But this is where I'm like, oh man.
Oh, honey, it is not looking good for Shannon Sharpe right now. Like, at all. The streets are talking, Twitter's in flames, and Ryan Clark, baby, he just tossed gasoline on an already blazing dumpster fire. That man is not holding back. He straight up exposed Shannon's allegedly creepy behavior with women, and from the way it's being described, it's not new, not by a long shot. Ryan didn't outright scream Shannon is guilty, but let's be real, the implication was loud enough to echo across ESPN's headquarters. And Shannon, child, he's not handling it well. He's spiraling. Word is, he's been begging Gabby behind the scenes to agree to some kind of hush-hush private settlement and make this mess disappear. Desperate much? Honestly, this whole situation feels like a car crash. You don't want to look, but you have to. Who would have thought that the Shannon Sharpe, the motivational quote king and former NFL darling, would be swimming in lawsuit after lawsuit in 2025? Like, if you'd said this last year, people would have dragged you like you just insulted Beyonce. But here we are, and it's uglier than anyone imagined. And here's the thing, while many fans are stunned, Ryan Clark isn't one of them. He actually said this is so on brand for Shannon because apparently the man has always been off when it comes to how he behaves around women. I mean, who?
No man wants to be associated with those things that's not his intent and that's not his heart. And so my biggest thing for him is if these aren't actions that are of him, I hope that he's cleared of them.
Right.
And then for the young lady, if these are things that has happened to her, you hope that she's able to process that and in some way feel like she has been not only compensated, but that she has sought and found the justice that she's looking for. But it's like you said, period. It's just a bad look. Whether it's the text messages, whether it's the voice messages, whatever it is, it's a bad look.
Let's talk about these text and audio clips that have hit the internet like a wrecking ball. You've probably already seen the screenshots floating around, and let me tell you, they're not just cringe, they're haunting. I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me while you're effing me. I know you missed this big juicy behind $25,000, 0 cents for each cheek. Only if you put that baby gravy in me, I want to put my tongue in your hole and then marry you. Excuse me, what? Who says these things? And even if you somehow think this is acceptable, sexting between two consenting, the age gap is screaming. Shannon's a grown man. She's 19. Like, sir, step away from the TikTok generation. And get this, those texts weren't leaked by some internet troll or random friend. Nope. They came from Shannon's own lawyer. You heard that right. The defense team thought this would help Shannon's case by proving Gabby wanted it. But instead, they just made Shannon look like a corn-obsessed, out-of-touch man-child. Like, it's giving creepy uncle who still says lit. But wait, it gets worse. You thought the texts were disturbing. The recordings will make your soul leave your body. 2 different audio clips have been making the rounds, and it's just horrifying. Shannon can be heard threatening Gabby. Her voice, you can literally hear how terrified she is.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be... Don't manipulate me.
Oh, no, have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit out of you when I see you.
I don't...
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did what you did to me.
Okay,
Ryan Clark wasn't done there. He dragged Shannon's history of disrespecting women, especially black women, on his shows. And if you've been paying attention, you know that ain't new.
A lot of times people just are who they are. And you're looking at Shannon, his brand has never really been anything that said he might not be into some of the things that we're learning, right? You could go back to the IG Live, or you could listen to some of the things that he promotes as sponsors of his show, or just certain ways he talks about women during nightcap or whatever it is, right? Like, okay, never hid that. And that's not illegal.
There's just something off about how Shannon talks about women on air. It's the kind of talk that might fly in a locker room full of jacked up football bros, but in the real world, it makes him sound straight up misogynistic, especially when it comes to black women. Viewers unearthed an old tweet of his where he clapped back at someone saying, "Why are you on my page? Don't you have another horse to rob of his hair?" Oh, what? And he said that in response to someone calling him out for only supporting Caitlin Clark and ignoring black WNBA players. This wasn't subtle shade, this was a full solar eclipse of disrespect. And y'all, this man has history. This isn't the first time Shannon's been accused of putting his hands where they don't belong. Back when he was on FS1's Undisputed, insiders say he allegedly choked a female production assistant. Hosts claimed that he and Fox submitted the whole thing for hundreds of thousands just to keep it quiet. Of course, when it resurfaced, his team said, "Oh, it was just playful physical contact, nothing serious." Sure. But buckle up, it's not over. Michelle, Shannon's ex, has also accused him of the same horrifying stuff Gabby is saying now. Michelle says they were together for 10 years, and when she caught him cheating in 2010, he allegedly turned violent. She claimed he forced her to perform oral, dragged her to the bed, and sat her while saying things like, "I'll make it so no other man wants you." Sound familiar? Because Gabby's lawsuit reads like the exact same horror story. Gabby says the first time Shannon assaulted her was right after she tried to dump him, after he went live on Instagram in bed with another woman. Classy, right? She says he forced her to go down on him while saying, "You've disrespected me. I'm going to punish this egg." Then he allegedly sat her through the back door, all while she sobbed uncontrollably. Michelle says he stalked her after their breakup, repeatedly threatened her life, and had her terrified. She even filed for a restraining order. Shannon didn't just stop there. He allegedly mocked her online, encouraged his fans to harass her, and made jokes about her like she wasn't a human being. When her lawsuit popped back up, Shannon's team responded with more shade, calling it fanciful exaggerations and blatant misrepresentations. They claimed she was just trying to cash in. Sound familiar? But Michelle clapped back hard. She said Shannon's been doing the same thing to Gabby, doxing her, dragging her through the mud, and trying to make people focus on her OnlyFans account instead of the actual trauma she's accusing him of causing. Michelle warned everyone that this tactic is meant to humiliate the victim, shift attention, and keep Shannon looking like the innocent party. Girl, not again. Now, while Shannon keeps crying, "Set up," his actions behind the scenes are telling a very different story.
Now, Shannon has been running with the idea that all of this is a shakedown and that he didn't do anything wrong or illegal to Gabby.
This was a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I'll put it myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million.
His lawyer made a big statement calling Gabby's lawsuit a cynical shakedown for millions, said the claims were filled with lies, and called the allegations gross and false. But here's the twist. Shannon was offering Gabby a $10 million. If he's so innocent, why offer up that kind of money? Like, who does that? Mace even jumped in and said this was a terrible move, because now Gabby knows how far Shannon's willing to go to keep his dirty laundry out of public view. That's not power. That's panic.
For him to offer 10 million says that there might be some truth to this, because I'm not offering nobody no 10 million if I know I didn't do anything. And I think the only reason that 10 million didn't work, Killer, I want to know how you feel about this. I think the 10 million didn't work because the pimp need his cut. You know, just allegedly. I'm not saying there is a pimp, right? Let me give you. It's just an idea. This is just an idea, right? So if there's a pimp, right?
And once Shannon realized Gabby wasn't going to take the money, he went into full-on PR mode. Suddenly, everyone's talking about how he's being set up. Convenient, right? Marcellus Wiley even gave his 2 cents. He said it's suspicious that Gabby's lawsuit was filed just 2 days after it came out that Shannon was about to sign a huge deal, like $100 million. Huge sense huge.
So we all know about the report of a $100 million deal for Shannon Sharpe and his king empire of Shay Media. Made a ton of sense. But now as I look back on it, that $100 million deal was reported. And did she know that that deal was happening, or she didn't know? Because on Friday, it was reported, and on Sunday, she filed. Now, I could get a work week, Monday through Friday, but then you gonna file on a Sunday? What happened between Friday and Sunday?
Yes, you heard that right. Shannon was reportedly finalizing a deal worth $100 million, 0 cents, after his contract with Colin Cowherd's Volume Network expired. With his podcast numbers going through the roof, like his interview with Cat Williams alone has nearly 90 million views, it's not surprising big players were throwing cash at him. But then, boom, allegations, lawsuit, tabloids, headlines, and some are saying that Shannon himself might have leaked that deal early on purpose. Why? So that when the lawsuit dropped, everyone would start screaming gold digger and ignore the actual allegations, but not everyone's buying it.
This extortion angle that Shannon and his lawyers have chosen could either be A, cover, let's inflate his worth before this hits, because we know it's going to hit negotiations that broken down in settlement, or B, which is worse, probably, someone with knowledge of these negotiations and the settlement offers leaked it to the public to blow up Shannon Sharpe's potential deal. Someone knew that he was in line for $100 million and leaked it to blow up the negotiations and the settlement, the mediation, and to deflate his value. So now you're not gonna get $100 million because all this is gonna hit the fan. Maybe one of the suitors did that, or someone close to Shannon Sharpe. So I just wanted to set that up. That's just setting up the tone.
And now it's falling apart. ESPN has reportedly told Shannon to take a break, and insiders are whispering that he might not be coming back at all. Disney, which owns ESPN, is apparently panicking behind the scenes. They don't want this scandal dragging down their brand or their stock. To make matters worse, there's buzz that Shannon has yet again returned to Gabby's team, trying to cut a new out-of-court deal. After all the public shaming and attempts to paint her as a lying opportunist, he's circling back and trying to buy his way out. It's giving cornered, it's giving scrambling, it's giving endgame, and now the whispers inside ESPN are louder than ever. The break they gave Shannon, not just a vacation, it's a calculated pause, a corporate move to protect their image while quietly phasing him out. Disney's execs reportedly don't want to be anywhere near this mess. They've got princesses and Marvel contracts to worry about. They don't need Shannon dragging their stock value into the mud. And the podcast deals, those big contracts everyone was salivating over, one by one, the offers are reportedly drying up. Because who wants to sign a man in the middle of multiple explosive legal battles over sexual misconduct and violence, especially when the stories coming out make even the boldest PR rep want to run for cover? Even some of Shannon's inner circle, people who used to ride hard for him, are distancing themselves. Folks are deleting old photos, removing tags, ghosting him. Is given. Lexi, exile. And remember that $10 million 0 cents offer he made to Gabby? That wasn't out of kindness. That was damage control. Plain and simple. His team thought throwing money at her would silence the storm, but when that didn't work, they turned to the oldest trick in the book, smear the victim. Only this time, it's not working. Gabby's team is pushing back hard. They're showing receipts, dates, screenshots, recordings. Even her therapist is backing her up. Her story's got consistency and witnesses. Shannon's side, just lawyers with press releases and a whole lot of finger pointing. Meanwhile, Michelle has resurfaced with full energy. She's not just telling her story, she's naming names, citing dates, and reminding everyone that Gabby is not the first woman to go through this hell. She's even launched a small campaign online to get people to stop calling Gabby a gold digger and start asking why Shannon keeps getting protected. She said, "This isn't about money, it's about safety. I'm scared for her because I've been where she is." Let that sink in. And now social media has caught fire. Hashtags like Protect Gabby and Shannon is over are trending. Influencers, journalists, and even some of Shannon's fans are posting videos calling him out and asking why he's being treated like a victim. People are saying they're sick of powerful men hiding behind money and media machines to avoid consequences. And while Shannon keeps denying everything, that $10.00 M check he tried to sneak across the table says more than any statement his legal team can cook up, especially when we now know he upped the offer again. Yes, he reportedly went back to Gabby's team and tried to negotiate a higher settlement once it became clear that the court wasn't the only place this battle would be fought. Public opinion is a beast, and right now it's chewing him alive. Meanwhile, Ryan Clark has become an unexpected hero in all this. He didn't just stir the pot, he flipped the whole table, and fans are loving it. He's being praised for calling out toxic behavior, even if it means burning bridges. In a time where silence equals complicity, Ryan's candor is refreshing. He's not just covering sports, he's holding the sports world accountable. And Shannon, he snapped at Ryan online, passive-aggressive jabs, cryptic posts, the usual messy man antics. But it's clear the damage is already done. Ryan's words were the final straw for a lot of people sitting on the fence. Now, insiders are whispering that Shannon is terrified this lawsuit won't be the last, that more women might come forward, that the dam has broken. And honestly, that might be why he's pushing so hard for settlement. Because if even one of these lawsuits goes to trial, the kind of details that come out could obliterate what's left of his reputation and maybe even his freedom. And the most tragic part? Shannon could have just stepped away, taking responsibility, addressed the hurt he caused, but instead, he's going the route of gaslighting, victim blaming, and hush money, a dangerous cocktail that never ends well. So now the court dates are coming, the headlines are multiplying, and Shannon Sharpe, once seen as a cultural commentator and role model, is now a cautionary tale in real time. What started as locker room gossip and sketchy texts has evolved into a multi-layered, deeply disturbing case, one that forces us to rethink how many beloved public figures are hiding skeletons behind their success. As of now, Shannon's podcasts are still up, but industry insiders say sponsors are watching closely. If just one more bombshell drops, it could be over for real. And that $100 million 0 cents deal might as well be a ghost story. So what do you think? Is Shannon Sharpe done for good? Is this a case of media witch hunt or long overdue accountability catching up to a man who thought he was untouchable? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because one thing is certain, this story isn't going away anytime soon. And as more women come forward and more receipts get exposed, the truth might just get louder than even Shannon's legal team can suppress. Stay tuned, because we'll be following every update in this wild scandal. And baby, we've only scratched the surface. Only scratched the surface.